Hey, it looks like we're live on a Facebook stream. How exciting. This is I don't know, maybe our third or fourth Pro Stitcher Facebook Live where we have special guests come and tell us about uh, how they're using their Pro Stitcher, or in today's case, how we're using Pro Stitcher Designer. And I will wait and let people join for a bit. Karen's our guest, and we'll hear more about where she's from and all shortly. But I forget, where are you based out of?
I'm from Ohio.
Oh, okay. So that's right. That's where. Your room, your quilt. I guess there's your quilt machine there. That's your whole studio behind you.
Yeah, right there.
Gotcha.
So
No windows.
no windows. I'm in the basement.
Oh, nice, nice, nice. That
So
is definitely a perk there. Oh, hi from Leeds, UK. Hi, Graham. How's it going? Are you able to see these comments, Karen?
I can't. Oh, you know what? I'm going to switch over here. There they are.
Yeah, there you go. So
Wow.
we'll have more people popping in.
There they are.
Hopefully, some of our friends in Pro Stitcher Posse will join us because there's always a hotbed of questions there.
Mhm.
Southern Arizona, I bet it's nice and sunny always. 360 days a year there.
Newcastle, UK. Arkansas.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's so amazing. If you would have told little kid Jen that she would be chatting with people from around the world, or like this morning, sending an email to Australia because you just need to ask somebody something in Australia, that's mind-blowing. Like, I
Seriously.
never would have thought that, but here we are in this
Yes.
incredible digital age. Oh,
And
still
you're
over.
talking to them from your home.
Yeah, that's true. I'm in my dining room where I have my long arm set up. The front door is right in front of me, and the stairs and rest of the house are right behind me. And there is no dining table in here, of course, because that would be crazy. There's Australia there. Oh, watching in
Wow.
Ohio. You have a neighbor here. Mary's right up the
Ah,
road from you, I'm sure.
Mary, where are you from?
Oh, another Ohio.
Northwest West Ohio. Yeah, very good. I live near Columbus, which is the central Ohio. I'm originally from Northeast Ohio, but right now I live in Central Ohio. So,
Well, I think we are about ready to get on with the big exciting lesson. I actually had an opportunity to take a class from Karen, and she's going to demo Pro Stitcher Designer and some elements in there and some tricks that she knows. And I'm in Designer. I don't know. It feels like sun up to sundown at my regular job here with Pro Stitcher. And I still I can get so much out of these classes. So, Karen, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like what brought you to Pro Stitcher and Pro Stitcher Designer?
yeah, I'm an HQ educator, and before that, I taught computers for 30 years in public schools. And it just seemed like a natural flow to go from teaching computers to working with computers and I've always loved the graphics um, and playing with graphics and photography and editing and Photoshop and all that kind of stuff. So it just seems like a natural progression.
So I
So
know I know a lot of people they'll have Pro Stitcher, and maybe Designer has come with their system. Regardless of what long arm brand they have Pro Stitcher, and it may or may not have come with Designer. And they may be a little apprehensive to get into Designer. Would you say it's tricky or worthwhile, or do you think this demo will help them get their feet wet? Like, what would you say is the skill level we're aiming for?
I would say starting at the very beginning,
Oh, awesome.
don't be overwhelmed. Just try to learn something new every day. One thing new. Start with simple and then go on, and pretty soon you start feeling like you're accomplished.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I will keep an eye on the comments while we
Okay.
chug ahead, and I will turn it over to you, Karen, to
All
show
right.
us your amazing demo for the software.
Great. Thanks, Jen. First of all, was getting some feedback from some people in classes about they were getting confused about the Pro Stitcher family. So I wanted to kind of clarify a little bit at the beginning about the computer program that runs your machine on your tablet. That is Pro Stitcher Premium or Connect. unless you're using an older version. And that's not what we're talking about today. And then we have Pro Stitcher Patterns, and that's where you can buy patterns and download them. And then you have Pro Stitcher Designer. And Designer allows you to edit those patterns. So I am going to switch over to I'm going to share my screen here. And can you see my screen, Jen? Jen, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Looks awesome.
Okay, very good. So one of the reasons I started with Pro Stitcher Designer was because I bought a design, and what happened was this wasn't the way that I really wanted it, and it really looked bad when I stitched it out. In fact, I tore out the whole quilt because I really wasn't happy with it at all. And you have your, I like to call this little thing over here node mode. It's really called shape tool, but I like to call things what it's for. And with just a matter of a few clicks here, I'm going to delete that point. That looks so much better. We're going to smooth that right there. And that looks so much better than what it came as. So I did, within about 15 or 20 minutes, I did a lot of that editing, and I got it to where I wanted it to go. So this is your screen when you see Pro Stitcher Designer. You have some tabs across the top, and of course you have your file. And most of the time you're going to be in the tools. And then over here, you're going to have your select tool. So if you're wanting to select something on your screen, you can use this and then click on it. And then this is the node mode. So when you have something there, it will show you all of the nodes. The other thing that I wanted to show you right now real quickly here is the sequence tab. So if you have more than one thing on your screen, then it will show you the sequencing, and that's kind of an important thing. And then you can right beside it have your designs that you can pull in, and we're going to use that later. But our major focus today is going to be with the backdrop tool. So I'm going to be in the tools and come over here to the backdrop. And I am going to come up here and let's do plan a quilt block. So let's say I want to do a quilt preview and I want to see how the designs are going to look on my quilt. I would take a picture with my camera and try to get it as straight on as possible so you don't have that keystone thing going on. And then when you pull that up into the backdrop, over here you have a sidebar, and you can change your size of your picture. So I'm going to change it to 36 inches, and notice that the aspect ratio changes automatically as well. And whenever you make a change over here, you always have to click apply. And sometimes if you have this so that it's up there, you don't see it apply. So you have to kind of move this down to make sure that you're on apply. Okay, so I'm going to move this so I can see my whole quilt there, because I did change the size. And the other thing that I would like to do, especially if I have a lot of colors and such like that, I'm going to adjust my lightness. So I'm going to change my lightness so that it is much lighter and click apply. So I can see it, but it's just kind of faded. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to click on my designs. And first of all, I'm going to get a block and I'm going to drag it over here. And I can see how that kind of looks on my quilt. And I can change the size of it. But the problem is, the next time I do that, see this line? It gets really messy really fast. So there's a couple of different modes. Right now, this has all the stitches attached to it. So I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to convert this. Now, for some reason, and I've been teaching a lot with this, it's usually convert to artwork is 1 click. Mine is taking 2 clicks. So once I do that, I'm still in the artwork mode, and I can copy and paste this now and drag it over. And I can paste it over here. And I can keep on going. I'm going to get a continuous line. And if I wanted to come down here, I'm going to get the tool called Leaf and Curl. But you can always move this up so you can see a little bit better of what you're doing. And leafy vines. And I'm just going to drag this over here. And of course, I'll have to change that to artwork, so I don't have those lines anymore. Change the size a little bit more. And I can copy and paste and copy and paste. But the really cool thing about it is when you get it all done, you can really see what your quilting is going to look like all over your quilt. Isn't that cool? So now I did this ahead of time so we could do some other things, so you don't have to sit there and watch me do that. But I just drug it up here there, and I made this one group so I could copy the group all at once. And then I just took this design and I put it in the corners and resized it so I could fit there. Now, I like to print this out and do a print preview. And I also like to write down the names of the designs so that I don't forget halfway through, especially if I am interrupted and I have to come back to it later. So I like to print that out so I can kind of see what's going on with that. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to show you is I have a customer that brought me a quilt. It's in the background there. But this is the quilt that she wanted. And by the way, we have our artwork tools here. So she said, she wanted like elementary pine trees. That's all she wanted here in the trees. By the way, when I did that, this is artwork. And so now if I click on that, you'll see the nodes and I can go back through and I can adjust that. But I wanted to put them all over these pine trees here. And if I'm going to fast speed ahead. So I took the picture, I changed the size of the picture with the backdrop tool. It's 48 by 64. And you can see how I drew that in there. And you can see all of those dots. And so now when I get that done and I like it and I have smoothed it out, and by the way, if I see something that is kind of jerky, I can right click on this and I can smooth it. Or if I have a point that is supposed to be a sharp point, like see how that kind of wiggles around there and I want it sharp, I can right click on that and I can click line. Now the previous line usually sticks around until you either push right click and update path or push enter. And that's helpful sometimes when you're trying to line things up. Now, this isn't perfect yet. I still have a little bit of work to do on it, but it's definitely a good starting place. So the other thing that I really like to do with when I'm making a design is I like to, let's say I wanted to make some popcorn on my quilt. And I'm going to do the backdrop. Right now it is about 10.33 by 10.97. And I'm going to make this lighter and apply it. And I'm going to use my pencil tool here. And actually, I love to use my stylus. I couldn't think of the name of it for a minute. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to click on pencil. And it's really a good idea to start knowing, for those people who are beginners, it's a really good idea to start learning some of those shortcuts. Now you can tell I'm not hitting the mark, but in reality, when I get rid of my backdrop, now I ran out of room. I got a little carried away there. But usually when you're trying to make an edge-to-edge design, you want to make sure that you're starting on the same horizontal plane. So I would have to adjust that. And then when I come up here and I take my backdrop tool, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to delete it. I have some touching up to do. So I can go into the shape tool and I can move this over and I can do some work there to make sure that it looks pretty good. Okay. The other thing is, when you are doing something like this, and after you have all the artwork in there and you have edited the artwork, that's kind of hard to say, you convert it to stitches. So I'm going to right click on it and I am going to, whoops, I didn't get there. I'm going to select it and I'm going to convert it to stitches. And again, mine is a two-step process. Most people's is a one-step. Whoops. I'm going to come up here to preview and click on stitches. You can do that too. But watch how this is going to stitch out. And we're going to make it go really fast. It's very sequential. And there you are. Once you have stitched that out and you have done all of your editing and all that kind of stuff, then you will want to save it. And you will want to save as, and you will want to change this to be either HQ Pro Stitch or HQF, which is an original file format, or you will want to change it to an HQV file, which it has to do with vectors, and it is considered the better quality. And you can click it, save, and you're ready to download that onto your jump drive and put it into your tablet. The next thing that I wanted to show you is, and somebody showed me this a long time ago, it's really kind of cool to do the Ironworks. If you look for a search for Ironworks, that's pretty cool. So I made my width here, and it's always better to start working with it bigger than it is to be smaller and try to make it bigger then. So if you get your picture bigger, and then it's easier to shrink it. I hope that made sense. So I've been kind of playing with this, And that's kind of a cool design. It'd be a cool border. And the other ironworks that I saw a picture of is something like this. So I came up with my stylus and circled that around and came back up here. I did a little bit of editing on that. And I didn't complete it. You can still see that I don't have the blue line there. By the way, my line is blue right now because my palette says that my first thing is going to be blue, but I could add many different colors. And if you right click on that, you can change your colors. So it's kind of intuitive on what you need to be doing with that. But once you have the artwork done and you have that edited, then you're going to convert it to stitches. You're going to preview it. You're going to save it as HQF or an HQV file. And that is basically how you use the backdrop tool. So
I thought that was great, Karen.
a lot of things you can do
the
with
backdrop
it.
tool.
Not only can you pull your designs in and see how it's going to look on your quilt, but you can use it as a template basically to create a design, whether you draw it out or you get it from fabric. You always want to make sure that you're not stealing someone else's artwork. You want to pay attention to that.
So if you type in ancient architecture or old world or filigree things from, Greek and Roman, and I love tracing those. And I'm pretty sure their designers are cool with it because, it's a couple thousand years old.
I don't think they're going to complain.
So we did have a couple of questions in the chat, but I did want to say real quick, whenever you, for all of the viewers now and in the future, that whenever you go to save a design, Pro Stitcher Designer is really awesome in that it can save all the file types for all of the long arm brands. So prostitcher.com sells digital designs for up to 9 file types is what we sell. And that includes everybody. So optimized for Pro Stitcher is the HQV file. But if you made something for a friend or you made something your long arm club is going to do an event or something, you can definitely save it in all different file types.
Right. Absolutely.
And save images and the PDF. So let's, Jacob, if you could, Jacob's our producer, as you know, and he is in the background working like a madman, getting all the stuff smooth and great. But if you could throw some questions up for us, I'm sure Karen or myself would like to see how it's going.
I would like to know how to save your layout on a backdrop you've brought in. So once you bring that in there, if you go File, Save As, and you save it as a C2S file, everything that you have, that means that you're still editing, and it will save your backdrop as a C2S file. And then just click Save. Okay.
So when you arrange,
I didn't share that screen. I jumped ahead. I didn't share my screen on that. I apologize. I meant to. Would you like me to show that? Let's
sure. So it's just me for a minute.
So when you share the screen, let me see. When you save your screen and when you go File, Save As, it automatically comes as a C2S file. And that's what it's going to save. It's going to save your backdrop, any of your artwork that you might have on there. And then just click Save.
So Karen, can you click to I think it's your second tab where you laid out all of the designs on top of that arrangement? Oh, maybe third tab then.
This one?
Yes. So if a person, how would you go about saving that?
The same way. I probably wouldn't stitch this onto my machine the way that it is. but I could save it as a file, save as, and then just save it as the C2S file, because I'm a little bit particular. I want to make sure that this is exactly in the middle of my area. And so that will help me get that there.
So this is more of a reference then.
It's more of a reference because I want to make sure that that center is exactly in the middle there. And I'm thinking, Jen, and you might be able to help me with this. If you save as and do it as a HQV or an HQF, I think they
Right.
fuse them all together.
It does. So it's not going to let you save right now because I don't think you have stitches applied to it because we had changed it to artwork.
That is correct.
But what will happen is it will save all of the designs in the order in which you place them on the screen. So you would like to stitch your top border, maybe the vertical sashings and those 2 blocks, and then you would like to stitch that middle border. But if you convert it to stitches and save right now, it doesn't care what you want. It will do it how you put them on the screen. So you should definitely just, use this as a preview or a reference. And of course, there are some advanced tricks for getting to being able to stitch this out all at once. But that just in this part of the demo, that's not necessarily the ideal way to do that.
Right.
So
and
I have another question.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't know if that a particular design is going to look good in that space.
Right.
And so that just makes it so that you can kind of see what it's going to look like. Can you show how to bring up an actual quilt top in place of the design on top?
So you kind of did that in the very beginning of the video, and this video will be recorded and put on YouTube as soon as we're done with the live. It will roll over there, and that was one of the first things that she touched on. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And someone asked about searching for Ironworks.
Yeah, if you just look up, go to Google and type in Ironwork and then search for images, you'll get all kinds of things. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Real quick, can you tell everybody the difference between using Pro Stitcher Designer as a demo, because you can download it right now and try out all the things Karen's talking about from prostitcher.com under the software tab. Can you tell them the difference between trying that demo and doing what you've done?
Yeah, if you download the demo from prostitcher.com and software, you will have all the features except for one, and it's a very important one. You won't be able to save your work. Those won't be an option. If you have your Pro Stitcher Designer on your, does it come on a flash drive now?
I don't think so. I think we just have it to download.
And then if you have the registration, you have to register it, and then you'll be able to save your work. Okay.
You cannot send your designs directly to your tablet if you're in demo mode.
Yeah. And you cannot, thank you. You can't send them to Pro Stitcher Premium in demo mode. Very good.
Okay. Well, I think that is a lot for a lot of information that's just scratched the surface of the things you can do in Designer, because I know I also love Designer like you do. So hopefully some of the friends in watching and in the chat will take advantage of the demo and get to try it out.
And I think we have to be patient with ourselves, because Jen and I, we have taught this for 3 days straight in different classes, and you still don't touch on everything. And so don't get overwhelmed. Right click on things. Your tabs across the top will get your ribbons. And if you just kind of keep that all in mind, that if you click on something, you can go other places, that's a good thing.
Well, and I wanted to point out too that on YouTube, on the Pro Stitcher channel, we have an entire playlist with, at the moment, 40 something tutorials, or maybe it's 39, 30 something. Anyway, we have a lot of tutorials that'll walk you through a bunch of different steps. And again, even that's tip of the iceberg, because once you start combining things and doing things, it gets out of control pretty fast, but it's very, very awesome. Do we have...
And I highly recommend taking an in-person class.
Are
because
you teaching
sometimes,
any? Do you have any coming up?
yeah, I do. I'm actually teaching up near Youngstown on Friday,
Oh, like
and
really
then,
soon.
yeah, really
Yeah,
soon.
okay.
And then we're planning one down in Cincinnati. We had to change the dates on it. And then I think in November I have one up at Anna's um, sewing center up in North Olmsted near Cleveland. So, that makes it really good, because then when it's not doing what you think it's supposed to be doing, then somebody's there to kind of help you bail out.
And
So
so since our viewers are, as we pointed out in the very beginning, all around the world, Handy Quilter specifically does a great job with education. And on the handyquilter.com website, you can find events, retailer events, and all the classes listed. So while it may not be Karen exactly, you could find one of another 40 or so educators that may have a class in your area. So I just wanted to throw that out there because the classes are really great. It is like drinking from a fire hose, but man, who doesn't love fire hose water? So, um, so we will, if we're going to wind it down now, and if there are more questions, we will answer them in the chat, in the text. We'll just write back to you. I wanted to let you know that our next Facebook Live is on November 8th, and you may recognize the name of our guest because she is just a fast and furious answerer in Pro Stitcher Posse. It is Patty Sliney. She'll be showing us how to mix and match designs. So when you're using your Pro Stitcher and you would like to combine two things, two styles of things, to link them together to make your edge to edge more interesting, she'll be showing us the quick tips on that. And I think
Patty's
that's
awesome.
all we have today. Thank you so much, Karen. And I look for your answers in the
My
chat
pleasure.
too. And thank you to Jacob. And I'm definitely sure I'm forgetting something, but I'm glad you guys all came to watch.
Well, thanks for having me. So it's been fun.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.